So as you guys know, it's been an interesting year. We're seeing more people show up at the beach. I think we were talking before you came up here, Chad, more people surfing than ever before. So this is going to give us a good opportunity to talk about two, I don't know if you guys heard, but there's going to be a new administration taking over the White House who apparently is going to believe that their climate change is a thing. Go figure. So maybe, Chad, you could bring us up to speed, everything that's happening with Surfrider and where things stand and, you know, where the new focus is. Yeah. No.
Now?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks to the Bends and Enoch for supporting the Surfrider Foundation. We're one of the two beneficiaries of the film festival, so we really appreciate that. You'll hear about the other one in a second. You're right. One of the things that's been really interesting about COVID, plenty of surprises, but one is that people have been flocking outside like never before. So we've seen surf participation double. You can see it at the beaches here in Laguna, and that trend is nationwide. Beach visitation is at an all-time high, which is great. The bad news is that they're also leaving a lot of trash behind. So we've seen like this plastic pollution explosion, takeout, litter, PPE, the gloves, the masks, and everything else. So, and we saw rollbacks from some of the single-use plastic reusable legislation. So we really have our work cut out for us to try to eliminate all that plastic that is ending up on land. I mean, you can go out any day, right, and see a mask on the ground. Well, all of those are going to run off every time it rains into the ocean. So tons of work to do. But the good news is California has a bill that we lost this year by 4 votes.
That is tragic.
We need our local representative here in our area, Cotty Petrie-Norris, to support this bill next year. But we're going to pass a bill that's going to be the leading sort of plastic pollution regulation bill in the nation in California in 2021. And then you're right, climate change. I mean, we saw the wildfires up and down the West Coast all fall. Hurricanes, I think we're on Eta. It's hitting Florida right now. We've seen more hurricanes hit the East Coast than ever before. So we need to take action on climate change. These guys are going to talk about that from the skiers and snowboarders' perspective. But now that we have an administration that believes in science and has made climate change one of their top 4 priorities, so it's a time for hope.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, for sure. Greg, you were kind enough to kick things off last year at the first ever Coast Film Festival. Just bring us up to speed, what you've been up to and kind of the projects and the passions that have been kind of keeping you going through this time.
Yeah, I think, if I were to summarize it, there's no shortage of fronts in which attention needs to be focused. The same stories of plastic pollution, climate change, but really I think the thread that weaves all of those together, and one thing I've been contemplating a lot, is the collective unity that we need to move forward with if we're really going to change the course that we've been on. The beauty within this COVID quagmire, as I like to call it, for me has been seeing how interconnected we truly are. And when you slow yourself down, as we've been forced to, I think this is the first time, for me personally, in years where I've had the chance to just sort of sit still and contemplate, what we're going through in the world. The first time that there's been an event of this magnitude in recent history where it's impacted everybody. And with that comes, the beauty of realizing that, we're not separate from each other, even though we may be living different lives, that there's somehow a connection point between all of us and the natural world. And it's a basic law of ecology, that all interspecies are dependent upon one another. So, in realizing all these things of just how do we, harmonize our energies in all of our own unique respective lives and move forward, that, the divisiveness that we've seen in, recent years and even recent months, if we're going to move forward in the positive direction, which I know we all collectively, aspire and, dream of, it's going to be finding that, place of unity and working together. That, we haven't reached these, I guess, pivotal moments and challenges in our lives, all at once, or it wasn't just a single person or a single industry. It was, collective actions by everybody. So bringing everyone together as the one human family that we are, mountains, waves, snow, whatever, terrestrial adventure, and outdoors. And the beauty of it, as Chad mentioned as well, we've all moved outdoors. And so with that, comes, I think, a greater appreciation and a lot of education as well. So somewhere in that ramble, maybe you can condense down what I might be aspiring to do and working on, but it'll take a form in some avenue within that.
Absolutely, and you gave me a perfect segue to move into mountains and talk about POW and where the focus and the drive with all things POW equally as important, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think protect our winners. We're kind of on the other side of the spectrum. We're Surfriders in the ocean, and POW obviously is in the snow. And we've all done a great job of kind of joining forces in what we call it as the outdoor state, and kind of getting everyone together and all fighting for these same causes that we love so much and that we want there for future generations. Clean air, clean water, clean energy, and snow there for future generations. So I think we've kind of seen it with the election and really getting out the vote, and it was incredible to have such a huge turnout this year.
Yeah, definitely good times to see that. We should note, but going back to 2007 was what I'm trying to go back in time. Was that when Jeremy started with POW? Has it been that long?
Yeah. So we're POW is over 10 years old right now, and I mean we've started in high schools and grade schools all the way up to college, giving these amazing Hot Planet Cool Athletes assemblies and really kind of hammering it home and kind of passing the torch in a sense to the next generation. And I mean, that's all you guys here, everyone, locally here is at the helm of watching these films and spreading that knowledge and continuing to keep it going. Yeah.
Right. We should know too, Jeremy's he was kind enough to have one of his films, Purple Mountains. It's going to be airing, so I encourage everyone to check that out. But another film that we're going to see tonight, Elena, you are the star of that. Am I correct?
Something like that.
What's that?
Something like that.
No, something like that.
One of the stars. For sure.
Yeah, one of many. No, I know. There's a lot of talent in there.
Yeah.
But I'd love to get your take on kind of what you've seen in the past year and how it obviously. I mean, I remember when COVID just started to hit. I was at U.S. Open, and we were all a little like in disbelief. But it was an interesting, end of the season. Passing of Jake, and then there was just a surrealness to it that I think all of us found ourselves, out in the outdoors, hiking a lot more, using our verts, and like kind of earning the turn, as I was saying. What's been the past year for you been like?
Yeah, absolutely. To the same sentiment, I think the silver lining of this whole pandemic that we're in is that people really are connecting to nature a lot more and finding that solace, whether it's in the ocean or in the mountains. And ultimately, I think that when we all have the time and energy to do that, connecting with nature really once you do that, it gives you the motivation to want to protect it. So really, it's full circle. It comes back to, we're able to spend more time out in nature, and it's healing really for a lot of us in these situations, especially with how much is going on in our everyday lives and how crazy the world is right now. And so having that healing is really like helping us individually, but collectively it inspires each and every one of us to come back. And whether it's working with POW or whether it's working with the Surfrider, I think we're seeing a lot more people getting involved, which for me, that's a huge silver lining. And I think it's something that's going to last far beyond this pandemic and hopefully get passed down to generations.
I'm convinced that face shots and tube time are a therapeutic for COVID, but it's not proven. It's not proven.
Definitely proven.
Yeah. Okay. I do want to mention that you guys, we're going to be ending the evening with Elena's snowboard film with TGR. Prior to that, it's going to be Make Believe. Todd Jones and Kai Jones are here tonight. We'll be hearing from them. But right now, we're going to kick things off with a short from Jimmy Chin, Ingrained, and then right into Chris Burkhart's Inako. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a Japanese word. And then we'll be hearing from Chris Burkhardt, who is here tonight. So we've got a fully stacked lineup. Big round of applause, you guys, for Chad Nelsen, Surfrider Foundation, Greg Long, Elena Hight, Forrest Shearer, you guys. Enjoy the night, and feel free to grab these guys and, have a conversation tonight. Just give us a second. We will clear the stage.